Okay, let's talk about a marketing channel you probably use every single day, but maybe you've overlooked it as a business tool. Yeah, I'm talking about your phone. It's right there in your pocket, and it's one of the most direct ways to connect with your audience. But using it the right way is a real balancing act between having incredible power and, well, having some serious responsibility. Just look at that number for a second, 98%. Now think about your email inbox, right? How many of those do you just swipe away without even thinking about it? The open rate for a text message absolutely dwarfs pretty much every other channel out there. This isn't just a tiny leg up, it's a total game changer, and it shows you just how huge the opportunity is to actually get your message seen. But like we said, with that kind of power comes responsibility. You can't just start firing off text to anyone and everyone. So the big question is, how do you do this the right way? Well, in this explainer, we're going to walk through the 3 essential steps. First, we'll build your blueprint for success. Second, we'll get into crafting the perfect message. And finally, we'll look at how to use data to measure, learn, and grow. So let's start with part 1, the blueprint. Seriously, think of this like planning your route on a map before you start a road trip. Getting these foundational pieces right from the get-go is absolutely essential before you even think about sending a single text. A solid foundation really has 3 parts. You've got to define your goals, you have to understand the rules, and then you build your list. Now, we're going to focus on how those last 2, the rules and the list, work hand in hand. Because honestly, building your list the right way, by the book, is probably the single most important part of this whole thing. Let's talk about a big one, the TCPA. That stands for the Telephone Consumer Protection Act. This is a US federal law, and you really need to pay attention to it. The magic words here are explicit consent. And this isn't just about trying to avoid some massive fines, it's about starting a relationship with your customer that's built on trust from day one. So what does explicit consent actually look like in the real world? This slide breaks it down perfectly. Over on the left, you've got the wrong way to do it, just grabbing someone's number at checkout without really asking. But on the right, you have the compliant, correct way. A crystal clear, separate checkbox where the customer has to actively say, yes, I want to hear from you. That's the only way to fly. So if you remember one thing from this section, let it be this. Always, always get permission. Look, a smaller, super engaged list of people who actually want your texts is infinitely more valuable than a huge list of people who feel like you're spamming them. It's quality over quantity, every single time. All right, so our blueprint is in place, we've got permission. Now, for the fun part, actually crafting the message. If the blueprint was planning the trip, this is where we get behind the wheel. And you've only got about 160 characters to work with, so you got to make every single one count. This slide shows the difference between good and great. The message on the left is basically just shouting into a crowd, but the one on the right, it's talking to someone, using a name, referencing something they like. That kind of personalization makes your message feel special and relevant. And that, right there, is what gets results. So here are the key ingredients for a great text message. You've got to keep it short and to the point. Personalization, like we just saw, is a must. Every single message needs a clear call to action. What do you want them to do? And finally, timing is everything. Sending a text at 3 in the morning is a fantastic way to get someone to unsubscribe immediately. Let's just double-click on that call to action for a second. This quote really says it all. Clearly instruct recipients on what to do next. Don't be vague. Don't leave them guessing. Whether it's tap to shop or reply yes to win, every message needs a clear, simple purpose that tells the user exactly what the next step is. Okay, so you've built your list the right way, you sent out an awesome message, but you're not done yet. Nope. The final phase is all about learning from what you just did. This is kind of like reviewing your trip to see what worked so you can plan an even better one next time. And this isn't a one-and-done kind of deal. It's a constant cycle. You A/B test different versions of your messages, you dig into the data to see what actually worked, and then you use those little nuggets of wisdom to make your next campaign even smarter. So, what are we analyzing? Well, these are the big 3. Your open rate tells you if your first few words were catchy enough. Your click-through rate tells you if your offer and your call to action were compelling. And the big one, the conversion rate, tells you if you actually achieved your goal, whether that was a sale, a sign-up, or anything else. Now, the secret to good testing is to be scientific about it. Don't change 5 things at once, because then you'll have no idea what actually worked. Just test one thing at a time, maybe the wording or the time of day or the CTA. That's how you get clean data and learn what really moves the needle. Success here is all about data, not guesswork.
So that's the whole framework. But you're probably sitting there thinking, okay, this is great, but how do I actually do all this? So let's quickly look at some practical tools that can help you get started today. Platforms like Twilio, Texting, and Text Magic are all fantastic starting points. A lot of them offer free trials or credits, which lets you play around and experiment with building a compliant list and testing your messages without having to make a big investment up front. As always, check their current terms, but these tools are built to help you put everything we just talked about into practice. When you put it all together, getting permission, sending personalized messages, using data to get better, you realize something pretty important. The real magic of SMS isn't just that 98% open rate. The real power is in using that direct line of communication to build a relationship that's actually based on respect and trust. And that really is what this all boils down to. This channel gives you direct access to your customer's most personal device. So the final question isn't really about what tool to use or what message to send. It's about how you'll use that privilege to deliver real value. You have their number. What are you going to do with it?